We are live. Here we go. We're doing it again. This is part two of the vinyl collection, the record collection, where I'm just grabbing some records off the shelf. I'm just going through it one by one. It's kind of like in the old days, you ever just sit on the floor and go through your records, and it's a very calming, peaceful experience. You don't even have to play them. Just going through them, opening up, looking at the gatefold, seeing the pictures that's inside. It's peaceful. It's nice. So I thought in this time when everyone's looking for something to do or stuck at home, what a nice thing to do. Go through your records. So I don't try to say I have a huge record collection. Not at all. I have a collection that I've been digging through for a few years, and I had to stop for many years due to space. So probably a lot of us can have the same problem. So it never developed to a huge, crazy collection. It's only like 4 or 5 shelves worth. So nothing crazy. And the part one of this, Kevin Buried on Mars stopping in. Hey, Kev. The first part, we worked backwards because that was the closest to this camera. So we started at Z and worked our way back, went through the Zappas and the Paul Simons and the Warren Zevons and the Neil Youngs. You missed all that. And if you might want, hey, where was the White Stripes and all that? There are some stuff that's not in alphabetical order here. I'm not a crazy archivist that keeps things 100%. I'm lazy. So some stuff has been pulled out and just not put away properly. So if we ever get far enough into this series where we come up to the odds and sods, that's where you'll find some other stuff that just didn't get shuffled back into the mix. So that's the deal. This is a live chat. This is a live stream. This is happening live, unless you're watching the recorded version. You can partake by saying hi in the chat. And if anyone wanted to jump in live on cam or say hello, or even just use audio, you don't have to have a camera. I can send anyone a link and you can pop into the live show here. So that's available. Don't forget, this is on YouTube. So hit the subscribe button so you know when the next one of these is happening. Subscription is very important. We want to have some tools available to us that only a subscriber growth can get you. So we're going to start with that. Subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. I'm not even saying hit the notification button. I'm just asking for subscribe. Don't cost you nothing. So that's where we're at. Now, last episode, oh, by the way, we're going to have some surprise guests coming in, some superstars coming in later in a little bit. So look forward to that as well. Last time I started this video with it wasn't part of the alphabet. I started with a special record, and I'm going to do that again this time. And I got a couple cameras here. Sorry if the quality might be a little bit fuzzy. We're doing the best we can on this live stream. So I'm going to add this second camera here. So you get to see my desk and my hands. And I wore the paisliest of all shirts for you. Tried to get as paisley as I could. So this first record is because I just watched the recent documentary that just came out called We Were Brothers. No, Were Brothers. We were brothers, something like the Robbie Robertson documentary on the band. So I thought I would show off a record that was shown in that documentary. And of course, if anyone knows anything about the band got their big start by Ronnie Hawkins hiring them and making a lot of the band members of the Hawks. And if you've seen The Last Waltz, you of course remember Ronnie Hawkins' performance in The Last Waltz. Ronnie Hawkins was big up here in Canada. I am broadcasting to you right now from just north of Toronto. Toronto had a major music scene in the 60s, 70s, into the 80s for sure. And once Ronnie Hawkins got a taste of the Toronto music scene, he really never left. He's become one of our children here in Ontario. And if you're wondering where the Hawk has been, he's been here in Ontario, living at his Hawk's nest. And so as they talked about the beginnings of the band, they talked about this album, Mr. Dynamo. And why is this important? Well, I'll get to that. I'll start off by saying where I found this record. I can still remember it. I found this record at a Salvation Army in Picton, Ontario, a small, dumpy basement store, gungy as anything. And this record is not in good shape. You can see water damage all through here, and it's wrinkly. But I knew of Hawkins at the time, and I thought I'd grab it anyways, despite this water damage. Look at that. And it turns out this album is very valuable. At least it was. I don't know what it currently is worth. There's a signature on it. I don't know who the signature is. Maybe it's Hawkins himself. Anyways, why is this important? Well, these two songs, Hey Babaloo and Someone Like You, are the very first recorded tracks written by Robbie Robertson, and they appear on this album. And that's probably why this album's worth a little bit, I would guess. So, Ronnie Hawkins, known as Mr. Dynamo, and the vinyl is not in very good shape either. So this is, I'd rate this at a good, not even a good plus. But if this was in mint condition, very valuable record. Very valuable. No, let me exit the solo layout here. No inner sleeve on this one either. Not giving it its respect with an inner sleeve. So that's to start it. Not an S, but we will go to an S after this. But first, I don't want to leave my guest hanging for any much more longer. Let me remove that second camera here. Very big star in his own right. And he's got a quality record collection. And he wanted to come on and share some stuff with you. And I can't wait to see the stuff he's got. I might be scared by it because you got my Paisley stuff. I'm kind of concerned what he's got, but I can't wait to check it out. We got Matt Bandy, Big Bandy on the stream.
Hey there. How you doing, Bill?
Hey there. Hey, it's great to finally have you on an SDC Pod live show.
Yeah, it's good to be here. And just heads up, you're not going to be too scared with some of my selections today. I kept it pretty mellow, something that I think everybody who's watching will enjoy, or I pulled some stuff that has some meaning or to me, and some stuff that I think you and maybe some of the other guys or people who are watching could be into. So, yeah.
You mean you actually put thought into this whole thing?
Yeah. A couple days worth.
That's crazy. Huh. We were talking about doing this and you kept asking me about plans and how to organize and all. Like, there's no plans or organization. We just go and whatever. Talking to the wrong guy if you want plans. But it's good. It's good that you're putting the effort in. You got your Sabbath shirt on. That's good.
Yeah. That's one of my favorites of all time, and big influence on me. So,
yeah, I love the Black Sabbath too, the old stuff.
Yeah,
cool. So I'm super Paisley and you're super Sabbath.
It's all right.
It's good stuff. So what do you think? You want to see what I got started here with the S's?
Sure. Yeah, sounds good.
All right. I did preview it at the end of the last episode what the S would start with. Do you remember?
You stopped with Bob Seger, I believe, was the last record you showed. Was it a Seger record?
I don't remember. I don't know these things.
Okay. I was happy that you pulled out some Bob Seger because I'm a big Seger fan myself.
Are you?
Yeah.
I just listened the other day. I don't know. It came across the radio or something. Hollywood Nights came on.
Oh, that's a great track. Yeah.
Trying to air drum that is insane.
Yeah.
It is supremely, I don't know what it's rated drum wise, but I'm sure it's underrated because if you listen to the drum track on that, it's wild.
Yeah.
And I imagine you got to be in pretty good shape to get through that drum solo or the drum. It's just constant, that drum.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see. How are we going to do this? Let me go to the second camera. How's the second camera looking for you over there? Is it fuzzy or?
It looks crystal clear to me.
Okay, good. Yeah, it's clear to me, but when I look at the playback, it always seems fuzzy, but I don't know. So we're going to go with the S's with Born in the USA, Springsteen. I guess you got to have Springsteen in your collection, right? No comment from Bandy on that one.
Okay, I don't have any Bruce Springsteen records. I do really enjoy the River record, as well as Stranger on the Edge of Town. Those are two great records.
The River. Okay, well, this is just a straight up, there's no gatefold. This is, what's the year on here? 1984. I wonder if this is an original pressing. It's got the, also on cassette here. So that's cool. It's got Bruce's ass. All right, there seems to be a some lyrics here. That's neat. Single page, double-sided. No Surrender, Bobby Jean, Glory Days, Dancing in the Dark. There's some pretty big hits there. Born in the USA, of course.
Glory Days is a great track.
Look at that young stud right there. Holy mackerel. Brr. What's doing? I don't know. And then some shots. Of course, my favorite band member is Max Weinberg, due to Conan O'Brien affiliation. And I bet you this looks pretty good, because I can't even remember if I've ever dropped a needle on this personally. Yeah, looks good. Out of Columbia Records. Yep. So no surprise that Bruce was with Columbia Records. He was called the new Bob Dylan. That's where Bob recorded the majority of his stuff. And just we'll get through the Bruce stuff. So we got Bruce, Born to Run. I'm sure a lot of people got this one too. Buried on Mars says The River and Stranger on the Edge of Town are the only two that he owns. This got Thunder Road on it. Born to Run, of course. She's the one. Let's take a look. This sucker is gatefold. He's got his telly on the cover. We got a sleeve. Plain old sleeve. Yeah, vinyl looks pretty good. Again, I don't think I've even dropped a needle on this one. Let me just put that back. And I think I got one more Bruce before we move out of the Bruce. No, that's it. That's it for the Bruce. So what do you think of that? Just two Bruce ones. Two big commercial Bruce hits there.
Have you ever listened to his first record, the Greetings from, was it Ashbury Park?
I can't mention anything on it, so maybe, but
that one has the track Blinded by the Light, which he originally wrote, but it was most famous by Manfred Mann.
Right.
Yeah, and for years I never knew that Manfred Mann, that was a cover of a Springsteen song, until I heard the Springsteen song randomly one time, and yeah, it's a lot different, but it's cool.
Does Bruce say the words better?
You can, yeah, it doesn't sound like he's saying wrapped up like a douche.
That's what I know it as.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Matt, what do you got for us? You want to take it away?
Yeah, I'll show you a record here. So the kind of keeping in what you did, I'm going to show you my very first record that I ever owned, and this is mine from my childhood. It is a Masters of the Universe picture disc. And unfortunately, this thing has seen better days and is very, very warped and unplayable. But
Oh man.
what this was essentially a story, just a He-Man adventure that had some music, but it was just like a narrated story. But it still looks awesome. The art on this thing is incredible, and yeah, I wish that it would still. I'm sure it would play, but I wouldn't want to put this thing on my turntable and give it a go because it is scratched to hell and pretty warped. But as a mounting piece or just something I could hold on to and to remember from this being the first record I ever owned is it's pretty cool. So yeah, there you go.
God, it is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah,
I love that.
yeah, it's neat.
I love it.
And I guess according to
I-
it's a limited edition, so whatever that means. But it looks like it was released by Mattel in 1983. So there you go. Yeah, my first record.
I've never seen that before.
I remember playing it as a kid.
Do
too.
we know what the value is of something like that?
I have no idea. I tried to look this up on Discogs, which is what I use to catalog all my music and what I use to get a idea of what things are worth. But yeah, I couldn't find any pricing info on it or not. But yeah.
Yeah, that is the coolest thing. Wow, that blows away anything else I'm about to show.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, that is amazing. Kevin agrees with me. Oof, wow. Okay, follow that up. Yeah, okay. What do we got here? In the S's, there seems to be a number 5 on it for some reason. Or is that an S? Maybe it's an S. John Sebastian, Tarzan Kid. John Sebastian, old folky right there. You will know. Do you know any John Sebastian, Matt Bandy?
I've never heard the name. No.
How about Sitting in Limbo?
Mm-mm.
You'd know Sitting in Limbo. I'm sure if I sang it to you, you'd know that. You would. By Jimmy Cliff and Gilly Bright. He does it here. Sport and Life. Stories We Could Tell. Singing the Blues. Sebastian was at Woodstock, I believe.
Okay. You said the song was written by Jimmy Cliff. Was that the reggae artist, Jimmy Cliff? That Jimmy Cliff?
Yep, I would say so because it has a reggae kind of swing to it. And Jerry Garcia's done that song as well.
Okay, yeah, because I like a lot of some of his Jimmy Cliff's early stuff.
This is interesting. The Warner Reprise Loss Leaders. And then they give you a bunch of albums here. And Jerry Garcia's on here as well. Deep Purple. Petula Clark. I don't know if those are compilation albums or what. Yeah. The whole Burbank catalog is down here in the corner. This looks actually like a good album to get. You got Garcia, Cooter, Arlo, Faces, Fleetwood Mac, Alice Cooper, Captain Beefheart. Wow, what an album. And then the record show one has got some Grateful Dead, Neil Young. Wow, I don't know what these albums are. You ever seen these before?
No.
The Loss Leaders. Lost Leaders are full stereo double albums in deluxe packaging. Each album is $2. Can you imagine the artist signing that deal? And then we got some artwork here. And God, there's you could order it right there. Why didn't we order that? On a reprise Tarzan kit. So that's cool. That's the only John Sebastian. Sorry to disappoint you, Matt Bandy, on that.
Yeah, my knowledge of 70s folk music is pretty limited.
Well, if I had the guitar right beside me, we'd have to break into some Sitting in Limbo for you.
Okay, I'll have to check that track out and see if I've heard
it. Okay, I got a big artist next, so you can go again.
Okay. So, some of our viewers and listeners might be familiar with this here, but this is the soundtrack to Castlevania 3. This was released a couple years ago by Mondo Records. They've been doing a bunch of vinyl presses of different video game soundtracks, but this is the third to be released. They released the first two Castlevanias on vinyl, which were 10-inch records, but this is a 12-inch, and this is a nice. Dig the artwork on it.
Oh, the artwork is just crazy.
Yeah, and it's a big gatefold that has the kind of the different levels of the game. You can see the all the different branching paths that you can take in the game, and but the cool thing about this record too is that it has the NES version of the soundtrack as well as the Famicom version, which was different than the NES version because it had according to this, the VR6 chip. So it has a little bit more of a kind of a warmer tone to it. But it sounds fantastic. The vinyl itself is just black vinyl, nothing, no colored vinyl on this. But it's double LP, and this is the Famicom version here. You can see the a little bit of the artwork on it, but
yeah, that's the artwork, man. Holy! I never really understand the people that are buying video game soundtracks, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But just looking at that artwork is like,
yeah, that's a big, I think, appeal to these, because usually they'll have like a different artwork. That's not the artwork you wouldn't find on the original box art. It'll be a different artist that'll do the artwork for it. And this one was actually done by Becky Cloonan, who she is a comic illustrator and writer, who she's done some series for Marvel and some other indie companies. But yeah, this is a great soundtrack, and it has every single piece of audio in the game.
So is that something you can listen to?
Well, it's yeah, the very last track, it'll run out like after all the songs are done. It has like a bunch of the different sound effects of either whip slashes or you dying, and yeah, it's pretty neat.
But can you sit there and groove to video game music for 45 minutes?
For stuff that I like, yeah, I can. I absolutely love this soundtrack. So this I can get into and listen to, and it has a little OB strip. This is what these are called. Usually you see those OB strips with like a Japanese pressing of records. So yeah, but I can listen to it. It's not very. This is probably maybe 30 minutes of music on either disc. So yeah.
Matt Bandy is totally breaking up for me. All I got was syllables that last 30 seconds. Is
Oh,
the
sorry.
feed fine for the people at home? Or is it fine, or is it just, I bet you it's just me. Anyways, Steven Eider's popping in to say hello. Hey, Steve. Catmax Gaming. He wants to. You got to tune over to someone else's channel for that.
I do have some cassettes.
You want to keep going, or you want me to take over?
Let me show you one more real quick, because it's
Right on.
It's keeping in the same vein. So this is Castlevania 4, Super Castlevania, also released by Mondo, which is the soundtrack to Castlevania 4. And again, the artwork on this thing is incredible. There's the front and back. And it's another big gatefold here with kind of the again the map to the game there. And let me see if there's anything special with the vinyl. Yeah, it's just normal black vinyl. And yeah.
Oh, neat label art.
Yeah, nothing too crazy there, but
what are they going to cost if I had to go buy something like that?
So this is, if I remember correctly, I picked these both up at Amoeba Records in Los Angeles. Oh, actually Hollywood.
Wow.
These were both probably around $30, $25, $30.
Do the value go? Does it go up?
On these, I'm not too sure.
time?
This was just kind of like the standard pressing. There's other pressings of these records that were colored vinyl, and typically those are a little bit more the limited limited pressings will probably, as far as increase in value, a little bit more than this. But
and Matt Bandy just ups his record cred with the Amoeba Records mention there,
which I was fortunate enough to be able to go to Amoeba a few months ago, right around I think in either November or December, and the Hollywood location is shutting down, and they're going to be moving to a new location. So I'm not sure when I'll be able to go to Amoeba anymore. But there's another one in San Francisco, so they're still open. But if you've never been to Amoeba Records and ever get to California, you got to go there, because it is insane, and as far pricing is amazing there, and selection is it's top notch.
Oh, I've been there. I even performed there once in Guitar Hero World Tour, I believe, was one of the locations.
Okay.
I see. I lost you for a second, but I see you're back.
Oh, yeah.
What a feed I got going here. Oh boy, trying to bring up my second camera. So I'm going to continue on with the S's, and here comes a pretty big artist. What is my second camera even doing? There's no live feed there. There we go. Holy mackerel. You must recognize that guitarist.
It looks like Santana.
You got her.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, this is a great album. It's Santana albums, if you're just listening to it, I find personally, if Santana comes on in the car, it's Steven Eider says I have 5G COVID, and Kevin says I'm downloading porn at the same time. I don't think so, but I do have questionable internet out here in the boonies. So as I was saying, if I'm listening to Santana in the car, I don't know, it's something I could skip But when you put on a record and listen to it all the way through, you can totally get into this groove. And this is a great album for sure. And I love the artwork. There's all kinds of, it's your typical psychedelic art here, where you can find all kinds of pictures inside the main piece of art.
Yeah, I always thought that cover art was wild.
Yeah, this I don't know. I don't know who the artist is. If it's Mouse, or I definitely recognize the art from a lot of Grateful Dead posters and Fillmore East stuff. Anyways, let's is this second camera as stuttery for you as it is for me?
It's a little bit now. When you first started, it was fine, but it's a little bit jumpy.
I know. What's going on? Look at, I got some vinyl sticking out the bottom here. That's not good. Not a good sign. There is no sleeve here. It's just loose. Santana on Columbia. When Santana had trouble breaking out back in the day as well. And he is yet another artist who can thank Bill Graham for getting popular, because Bill Graham knew how to put the right artists together on the same bill. So you're going to get your Santana, you're going to put them together with the Grateful Dead, and you're going to find your audience, because he was just floating out there and no one knew what to make of him until Bill Graham got a hold of him and set him straight. And of course, that Woodstock performance is out of control. Another Santana, Moonflower. Got a little bit of ring wear on this. Gatefold. Some nice mountaintops there. This is from 76. Is this a double album? Yep, double album. You got some Santana Instruments of Destruction there. I'm not going to bother pulling out both pieces of vinyl. Look at this one. Look at that. That's a man about town right there. I'm just checking out that guitar. I don't know what's going on with that thing. It's got some kind of art on the back end here or something, where the tremolo arm should be. There's, I remember him from Woodstock. What a drum performance. Holy mackerel. Yeah. Kevin's giving me crap for the no inner sleeve again. I do have an extra from the records I threw out last time, so we'll get that sorted for sure. Chris Roberts is popping in. He, of course, wants more bandy. I don't blame you. It's what the world needs. More big bandy. Okay, bear with me a second. I'm getting the poly back on it.
So that Moonflower record was one of the records I inherited from my parents' collection when I was in high school.
Nice. Do you still have it?
I do, yeah.
Santana Festival. What year is this? Not sure. I'd say this is 80s. You got a nice sleeve, same artwork. 1977 on that puppy. On Columbia. Yeah, Santana does definitely benefits from throwing it on and listening to the whole album. and just letting her go, get in that groove. A couple more Santanas to go here. Again, what's with records and their boobies? Gonna get this feed taken off. Gotta love that artwork, right? Abraxas. This is probably the first Santana I had. Black Magic Woman, Oi Como Va. This is probably the one everyone has, right? Columbia on stereo, gatefold. Nice live shot. Looks pretty good. There is an inner sleeve in here. It's just it's in quick change mode right there. It's kind of handy. And one more Santana. Chris Roberts asked if I have the Jaws soundtrack on vinyl. Maybe. Not sure. And Santana Amigos. Not sure if I've listened to this one. 76. If I haven't, I should. There's a throwback to that album right there in the artwork.
I don't think I've ever seen that record before.
This makes mention of Bill Graham as management. That Bill Graham Empire is something else. It's a cool label. No sleeve on the inside of this one. Well, you see, I get all my vinyl used mostly, so that's what you got to deal with, right? That's why chiefly I was buying vinyl throughout all of my time, was to get it cheap and to just get the music, because CDs were super expensive, cassettes were unreliable, and vinyl was a great way to get a collection going. So that's why I was collecting records. So you deal with what you got. So that's it for Santana. That's it for the S's, if this pile is correct. All right, what you got?
So I actually have an S myself here, and I think you might be familiar with this band. They're on last two records were released on your guys' label, Third Man Records. Do you know who this is?
Is that Sleep?
This is Sleep, yeah.
Yeah.
So this record is called Dope Smoker, and this is essentially one long track, and it is 63 minutes and 34 seconds, but it's a double LP, and this album has kind of an interesting history behind it. This is the 2012 release of the record. This is actually kind of the first official release of this record. They recorded it in the late 90s, and they were signed to London Records. And when London Records got the original press of this and heard the song, they're like, we don't want to put this out. They didn't know what to do with it, and it kind of got scrapped. And there was a few unauthorized versions that came out that broke up the album a little bit, kind of into more shorter set. It was still really long, but a couple different record labels did unofficial releases, and not really bootleg releases, but just kind of unofficial releases. And that's when I had first heard it. But this was the 2012 release on Southern Lord Records. And this has a different mix and it's the album in its entirety. Sides A, B, and C are all the one song, and side D has a 2 live tracks. But yeah, this is not for everybody. This is kind of an acquired taste. Sleep are kind of a mix of doom metal and stoner metal. It's really slow. It's basically just variations on one riff played over and over again, and it's um, it's definitely it's doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like you're listening to one song. It's definitely an album like you it's one you put on and listen to the whole thing, but they're different levels of the record. But um yeah, it's one riff played for um over an hour, and it's amazing. But the inside of the vinyl here, I'm trying to think of, oh yeah, this is on
Ooh.
a green, kind of a pea green vinyl. But the yeah, the artwork to this record, and I'm not sure who the artist is, but it's yeah, it's awesome.
When Third Man was pushing all the Sleep stuff, I loved all that artwork they had. The space kind of space steampunk weird outer space stuff. I loved it.
Yeah, they have a lot of that in their imagery. What did you think of the stuff that you heard, Bill? And this is there's the inside. Just this huge barren desert planet.
I could get into the groove. To me, it was more psychedelic than metalish to me. That's just how I took it.
So this,
like I told you, there was that one track at the end of the record where it played into the run out and just kept repeating.
Yeah. Yeah, it might take you a while before you realize.
They timed it perfectly.
Yeah. Yeah. Their first record, Sleep's Holy Mountain, is a little bit more accessible. It sounds very, very heavy Sabbath influenced, and it's it's not the long format that they kind of became known for eventually. Here you can kind of see this is just some liner notes on like how the song is broke down to where how they the different riffs they play over and how many times, and that was kind of a
right.
During the recording process of this, it was hard to kind of keep track of where they were in the song, so they broke it down that way. And they do play this live, but they played segments of the album. They don't play the whole thing. I'm sure they probably have played the whole thing in its entirety, but usually they'll play segments out of it. But yeah, like I said, this album's not for everybody, but if you're into it, it's really good.
And when did you first hear about them?
I first heard about them in like 99, 98. I had a friend who introduced them to me.
Oh,
it was right after this record kind of came out, and there was a little bit of buzz around it.
Well, Chris Roberts has chimed in, not surprisingly, mentioning about a pickup he got for a crazy, insane price. Not surprising. Yes, Chris Roberts owns the world of flipping and good deals. It's frustrating. Very frustrating. So if I can continue, we're into the R's. What do you think the chief R is going to be?
I'm blanking.
Well, every good Canadian needs to have this album. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah, of course. Rush.
You got your Rush Moving Pictures. God damn it. What an album. Talk about one hit right after another. Love it. I think this is well played, so it might look a little rough. The cover looks good. There is a sleeve inside, so that's always good news. Produced by Russian Terry Brown. Let's get in here. Come on. This sleeve, it is here, but it is it's questionable. A lot of a lot of rips and tears on this sleeve, but it's still here, doing its job. The vinyl's in awesome shape. I'm very happy to report. Very happy to report on that. Love this album. Talking about video games. Did you do much of the Rock Band, Matt Bandy?
I did Guitar Hero when that first came out. I was really into that. I absolutely love rhythm games, and yeah, that was just like the perfect storm when that first came out.
Well, for Rock Band, you could download this album.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, great times. I remember staying up all night with a buddy trying to get through. Well, they're all tough, but YYZ was was a lot of rum being drunk, and it was getting later.
That track was on one of the Guitar Hero games, I believe.
Was it?
I think so. It was like Guitar Hero 2 or 3.
Oh, right. Yeah, one of the early ones.
Mm-hmm.
But it might not have been the actual track, right?
No, yeah, it was like a recorded, some other person recording it. The cover.
Rush 2112. There we have the famous robes, kimonos. My scrim fell off my light here. Getting lots of glare. That's what this is. I got some scrim happening here, falling off my light. Very pro operation I got going here. Ugh. Take a look at this. It's like, hey. Now, this is in pretty good shape. With this record, you'll often see ring wear on the dark cover and just the quality of the cardboard they used. I always see this with heavy ring wear, but mine's doing all right. There we go. It is gatefold. Got the lads there. Okay. You're done. You're done, Light. You're fired. That might look better. Does that look better?
Yeah, there's not much. It looks fine. No glare.
Okay. Now look at Alex, man. Holy smokes. Now you can see the ring wear on the back for sure, but otherwise that's in great shape. Every Rush fan needs 2112 for sure. And like I said, there will be albums that are missing, and here's definitely a spot where some are missing. I know there's more Rush somewhere, but I'm already moving into the queues. What would be in the queues?
Queen.
Well, you'll have to hold on and see, because first we have the Quicksilver Messenger service.
Oh, I'm not familiar.
Are you aware of these dudes?
No, not at all.
Another West Coast band. Are we back?
You're back now.
I still remember where I found this. This I found at a Goodwill, which around here, finding good records at a Goodwill it just doesn't happen. They're always trashed, and they're always just like fiddling records and, garbage.
So
but
what's the story behind this band?
Quicksilver, so they were West Coast band. They're a psychedelic band. They were in the same circuit as Grateful Dead and all those guys, Janis Joplin, and they were all buddies. So it's a psychedelic jam band. They're really good. This album is the one to get. It's awesome. It is Pride of Man. I don't know if anyone recognizes any of these titles, but I mean, you can pop this in. It's good stuff. Oh, if you look here, I don't know if this picks us up in the camera, but someone has taped the outer borders of this album. See that?
Yeah, I can see that now.
With clear packing tape. Now, it's kept the album in perfect shape, but ultimately has destroyed it in a way too. It's really good tape and like no peeling, unless it got released this way. Would the manufacturer have done that?
I've never seen that.
Like the corners look really good. There's no creasing on this tape at all. Whoever did it, they had quite a bit of patience and dexterity to do that properly. It's not focusing. Anyways, let's look inside. Again, these guys would have been at the Fillmore, would have been in Bill Graham's sites. Really good psychedelic. Look at this. Not only a sleeve, but another sleeve, guys. Holy. Oh, that's an aftermarket sleeve from the Vinyl Museum. Yonge Street, Toronto. They would add this sleeve into all of their records. A lot of us collectors up here will have one of these Vinyl Museum sleeves somewhere in their collection. It's a good looking record. It's good stuff right there. Okay. Chris Roberts has a question for you, Big Bandy. Let me put it up here for you. For the listeners, how do you feel about records with excessive popping? Too distracting?
I don't don't have a lot of records that have too many flaws in the vinyl. Some of the older records, I'll get some hissing, but that doesn't bug me. Popping on a new record will drive me nuts.
Oh yeah.
But sometimes it's just a matter of play it a couple times, and that sometimes that pop will go away once if it's just a blemish in the vinyl. But sometimes that can go away on its own if it's a new record.
Yeah, I hate it. Like this is a weird thing in this vein of collecting for me. Like a lot of times we collect for its packaging, right? And how good the artwork looks. For me, I always picked vinyl based on the quality of the wax inside. So if the cover was garbage, but the vinyl inside was mint, I would still get it.
Yeah, I'm the same way there.
So there's your Queen. Jazz. A Queen Roy Thomas Baker production, 1978. Let's take a look here. Gatefold. Get rid of Chris Roberts' question. Thank you for the question. Appreciate it. It's a big time studio. Look at the size of that studio. Holy mackerel.
Wow.
Sleeve concept by Queen. Sleeve design by Cream. And the Thunderbolt is courtesy of God, it says. So, yeah. It's a pretty wild cover. Okay, what do we got inside here? Lots of stuff. Is this a poster? Dare I say there's a poster in here? The bicycle must be on this album. Oh boy.
Hey-oh.
Oh boy.
That's a lot of butts.
Holy mackerel. I'm gonna have to take this upstairs with me later.
Doesn't that also have fat bottom girls on it?
Yes, you're right. And bicycle race. Don't stop me now. Yeah. There's Brian May. Do you remember what he named his guitar for the trivia section of this broadcast? Talking to you, Big Bandy.
I have no idea.
Well, you know he made it himself, right?
That I didn't know. No.
No?
No, didn't know that.
Like all the old rockers made their own guitars. Pete Townsend.
Like he made it himself, or he had like a custom, like Gibson, or made for him.
No, he made it himself.
Hmm.
I believe his dad was involved too. Now the electronic guts would be from something. I'm not saying he wound the pickup himself, but Red Special. Thank you, Kevin. It's called the Red Special, and he plays with a coin, if I recall, instead of a pick, which I could never do. I never got that. Just doesn't feel right. Before I continue, Matt Bandy, you want to go again?
Sure, please. Yeah.
Come on. This is what people want to see. Come see me.
Let's see. We'll go with this one here. So this is my personal favorite Black Sabbath record. And this here is a 2016 reissue that was put out by Rhino Records. And what's cool about this record, it's a double LP. And it's a pretty short record, but the second record has alternate takes of pretty much all of the songs, and with different lyrics too. So that's pretty cool to see.
Wow.
Yeah, it's neat. I mean, they sound essentially the same, maybe a little bit more raw, the mix, but yeah, it's neat. Kind of funny to hear Ozzy singing different lyrics to the songs that you know.
Is the cover embossed on that too?
No, it is flush on there. Yeah, there's a ton of different pressings for this record. A lot of neat like bootlegs for this record. A lot of neat pressings from different countries that have this is kind of the standard, like the purple and black. I've seen different pressings of this record where this is all in white. I've seen pressings where it's all the letters are different colors. There's a lot of neat different pressings on this record here. But yeah, it's a cool record.
Yeah, absolutely. Love that sound. I love the texture of sound they create with the bass and the guitar. Is you just know it instantly when you're hearing it.
Yeah, Geezer Butler and Tony Iommi are well, the whole band actually. Bill Ward too. That's to me like the core makeup of Black Sabbath. Say what you will about Ozzy, but you know those guys are the real heart of that band. But yeah, I got a couple other ones here.
Any other Sabbath coming out?
Not coming out, but I do have a lot more Sabbath. But I wanted to just show that one because it was I thought it was a neat pressing with the alternate takes that you don't hear every day. So this band here, I think is kind of an unsung, a very underrated band to come out of the 70s. Very influential on heavy metal and hard rock, and that is a band called Mountain. Are you familiar
Sure.
with Mountain?
I think so, unless this is something else.
So
I've definitely
everybody
played
pretty
some
much
Mountain.
knows Mississippi Queen, and for the longest time,
Oh, yeah.
that's the only track that I'd ever heard because that's what I heard played on the radio, and I think that was kind of their only um, radio hit. But yeah, this band, three-piece band from New York City, I believe they were out of. Um, but that's another one where Leslie West, the guitar player, his tone is instantly recognizable. It's such a distinct sound. Um, this one here is a not a gatefold, but it's a trifold where it opens up here. Leslie West, kind of a big dude too. Known for that big afro-looking hair.
Mm.
Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, this stuff. Like I was saying, I had only heard Mississippi Queen, and then uh, I started to, as I got a little bit older, started kind of digging a little bit deeper in some '70s hard rock and a little more obscure stuff. And then when I heard these early Mountain records, it just kind of blew me away. So for the time is so heavy and such a killer sound for just three guys in a band. And yeah, this is a great record. This is their first record, Climbing, but my favorite record of theirs is a record, their second record called Nantucket Sleigh Ride.
Mm.
And this one I don't think had any radio play. Maybe the title track Nantucket Sleigh Ride might have had some, but yeah, this is another great record. It's the gatefold here.
Leslie West gets a ton of play on the Howard Stern show. He loves Leslie West.
Nice, yeah.
Mountain was at Woodstock, weren't they?
They were
here in the film.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I think Leslie West lost a leg too, didn't he? For diabetes complications.
I'm not sure. I wouldn't be surprised. He was kind of a big dude. Yeah, this is actually a UK pressing of the record. And speaking of Leslie West, I have here, this is his first solo record called Mountain. And this is essentially, it sounds just pretty much like Mountain, but it's just his first solo record. This is a good one too. So if you dig the Mountain stuff, and yeah, I'd recommend checking this out.
Yeah, I would add that to the collection for sure.
Good stuff. There's a lot of unofficial, they're not on vinyl, but like unofficial live recordings, similar to kind of like what the Grateful Dead would do. A lot of their live recordings kind of a little bit more jammy and improvisational type stuff. But yeah, Mountain just doesn't get the credit. There's such a huge influence on a lot of hard rock and heavy metal bands that came out in the 80s, and it's yeah, good stuff. So if you like 70s hard rock, you can check that band out.
For sure. Cat Max Gaming says that's the hair that Kevin Barry on Mars once had. I'm sure it was very similar. Well, I'm still in the P's. So I jump ahead here with what? Now I'm hearing echo of myself. What is with this stream?
You're good on my end.
Okay, good. Here's some Robert Planet, as Zappa would call him, the principle of moments. I don't know if I've listened to this, but I'm such a huge fan of Zeppelin. I'll still collect their solo stuff. This is from '83. In the Mood. I think that's the track everyone knows.
Oh yeah, I heard that a bunch as a kid on the classic rock radio.
Yeah, that would get a lot of radio play. What else we got here? It has a sleeve. Well, with the band. Barrymore Barlow. That's a name. Hey, Phil Collins appears on this. But it's I don't like Phil Collins.
You say you don't like Phil Collins?
And Robbie Blunt. What's that?
Did you say you don't like Phil Collins? Is that what you said?
I say no to the Phil Collins,
Phil
personally.
Collins. Okay. Do you like Genesis?
Yeah.
No.
When they were old and progressive.
Yeah.
Not Susu Studio.
Okay. It's funny because I kind of have that's one of my guilty pleasures. I do like some of that Genesis stuff because I heard it so much as a kid, and I Can't Dance or We Can't Dance.
So that's the Robert Plant album I have. And just trying to put it back together here. Cover is slightly torn. Answer me this. Is this part of the album or did someone put this here?
I don't know. I am not familiar with that. I've never seen that record before.
Okay, moving on in the P's. Any other guesses for P's?
The Pretenders.
No. I'd take a Pretenders album, but no. Got some Pink Floyd coming at you right here.
They did a soundtrack?
Now, apparently the movie More, directed by Barbara Schroeder. This is from '69. This stereo recording. I believe I actually got a hold of these from my ex-mother-in-law, who, when they were in Wales, grabbed a bunch of records for me. So this is actually from across the pond. And they were at a boot sale, which is like a yard sale, but everyone pulls up in their vehicles and opens their trunk and sells stuff out of their trunk. So that's one of them. Made in Great Britain.
Have you listened to that?
This, I'm sure I've listened to it once. I haven't gotten back to it, though. Pink Floyd, I definitely have to be in the mood for.
Is that soundtrack, is it their songs or is it a original score that they wrote?
Composed by Pink Floyd, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Another Pink Floyd here. Adam Hart Mother. I think a lot of people have this one. It's got Breast Milky on it. Everyone's got to have that. Mind Your Throats, Please. Alan's Psychedelic Breakfast. I believe this. No, this one is Canadian, so this one didn't come from Great Britain like the other one did. On Harvest Records. My favorite Floyd album is one I don't even have, but I have the tracks for it. in MP3 form is Saucer Full of Secrets. I can't name you any of the titles on that album, but I know whenever that shows up, it's an awesome song whenever it plays something from that album. So there you go. A couple of Pink Floyds for you. And a couple more P's. I still got more P's. These P's I've been trying to sell for a long time.
Oh.
You look these up. They're worth money, but I can't sell them. The Elvis Christmas album. Santa Claus back in town. Like, come on. If you guys are looking for this, shoot me a note. I'll send it out to you right away. I believe this is the mono version. Like, that's why this is mono. So that's why this sucker has a little bit more value. Plus the artwork is great for the Elvis lovers out there. Same with this one. That's all right, mama. This sucker is gatefold.
No, that 40 I see there, is that what you paid for that?
No, that's what I was wanting for it.
Gotcha.
Look at that picture on the back, man. That's what makes this one so valuable. And yeah, they list very, very high, but I don't know. You can't, they're tough to move. This one has not only its album in it, but also two other loose Elvis ones. So I don't know what's going on with that. But yeah, shoot me a note. I think Kevin said he wants this one. And another Elvis one. Didn't I just show this one?
I think that's the same one.
Holy mackerel. Guys,
You got two? You got a duplicate?
we can give you a deal on this one, guys. So this one I said is mono, right? Trying to confirm that. The label kind of says both, but I assume that one's mono. And this one is the new orthophonic. I don't know if you can see that high fidelity record. So yeah, that's the one you want, guys. Oh, look at that. There's a bonus in here. I'll pull that out for you. And the back is different. Okay. So there's the first one I showed you. And there's this one. It gives you the finest quality reproduction. I think this one's actually older. I think orthophonic might mean mono.
I've never heard that term before.
And then we have the special TV edition photo album. Guys, I'll throw that in for you. Whoever's buying these albums off me. Look at that. Actually, HBO had a Elvis documentary on recently, and it's actually excellent. It is really good. It's very interesting to find out what was happening with Elvis, especially with his management. How the reasons why he never toured outside the States is basically because his manager, Colonel Tom Parker, he wasn't an actual American. He was an alien. I think he was Canadian. And he was afraid if he left to join Elvis on tour, he would not be able to get back in. So that's why he talked Elvis out of touring outside of the US. So quite a shame, because Elvis wanted to, but he couldn't do it. There's some Elvis tidbits for you right there. And then later on, the Colonel was an amazing promoter. When Elvis would book places, the Colonel would stipulate to the venue that it must be a sold out performance or Elvis will never play your venue again. And later on in his career, some venues just couldn't sell out. And so the Colonel would threatened, then Elvis will never come back. So some venues would actually yank seats out and leave them out in the parking lot. So whatever didn't get sold, they literally ripped the seats out and threw them in the parking lot so it would be a sold out venue.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
All right, Matt Bandy, what else you got for us?
So I have another, I think, underrated three-piece band from the 1970s.
All right.
Care to wager a guess? Starts with a G.
G. Three-piece.
Three-piece.
Greem?
No.
No. I don't know. You got me.
Grand Funk.
Yeah, for sure.
So this is Grand Funk's third record. This came out in 1970. This doesn't have any hits on it. And this thing is a rager from start to finish. This thing's great. I don't know, there's something about three-piece hard rock bands from the 1970s that I just dig. It's so good. This record is awesome. The first track, Sin's a Good Man's Brother, is great. Aimless Lady, I'm Your Captain. It's such a good record. But it's the amount of records these guys put out. They recorded like 11 different records from 1970 to 1976.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. They would have, in 1969, they had like their first two records. They put out 2 records in 1 year.
Yeah, that's what artists used to do. You had to pump out 2 a year.
That's nuts. And like this band definitely kind of had like a more of a cult following. They never had any big radio play. They had that American Band, We're an American Band song. That's pretty much the only song I heard from these guys, growing up. And so I kind of, when I was a kid, I'd hear like, oh, that was just like a one-hit wonder, and I kind of write these bands off until I got a little bit older and kind of started digging a little bit deeper and kind of going more deeper cuts. And when I first heard this record, I was surprised. I was like, that's what Grand Funk sounds like. So yeah, check this stuff out if you like that 70s hard rock, proto metal type stuff. It's good, real good.
I really don't know much about Grand Funk for sure.
Yeah, I didn't either until I really kind of checked. But I would recommend this record. This thing is, there's not a bad track on this. That's great. I listened to it a bunch.
What I know about them is they're there as I'm trying to get to the Grateful Dead albums.
Okay.
Are you going to continue?
Yeah, sure.
Keep going.
So I'll go to a band from your neck of the woods. This is a current band. This is a band called Blood Ceremony. This is their very first record. So Blood Ceremony would be if Black Sabbath and Jethro Tull had a baby that had a female singer. It would be this band right here, Blood Ceremony. Heavily influenced by occult type themes, but I love the artwork to this record is great. It was actually taken from a Clark Ashton Smith, who was a science fiction fantasy writer from the 50s and 60s. From one of his novels. It was like a collection of short stories. This is from the name of this painting is called Zothacue, I think is the name of the painting. But it looks great in this huge gatefold here. This is the 2019 repress. So I missed out on this record when it first came out. And I don't know if you can see, this kind of has some little silver flecks in the vinyl here. Rise Above is the name of the record label, and they're kind of known for doing smaller print runs, especially with this being this band's first record. This record became popular after. I'm not getting scary, Kevin. Come on. You would like this band. It's a female vocalist, a lot of flute. It's really, really good.
A lot of flute.
Yeah, there is. It's heavily Jethro Tull influenced. But yeah, it's really good. So they finally did a repress on this a couple years ago, and I was able to pick it up for just normal price without having to pay an exorbitant amount on the secondary market. But this record, I specifically got this one or brought this one up because I thought you and Kevin might dig this. Their stuff is on Spotify if you want to check it out, so you can listen to it that way. But this is a good record, and their third record, which I'm blanking on, is really good. That would probably be, I would say, start with with that record, but kind of psychedelic too, Bill. So it's good stuff. Don't be scared. Blood Ceremony.
Where?
They're from Toronto.
Where did you say they're from?
They're from Toronto.
Wow. Now, how did you get turned on to them?
My just through digging for music, and the record label too. I'm familiar with the record label, and anytime they put out a new artist, I'll check them out, and that's kind of my fingers kind of on the pulse with the new heavy bands. So,
wow.
So check them out.
Whew. Okay. I got a couple records here that is might bring a little tear to your eye. Geez, I'm kind of surprised how many I have.
You still in the P's?
Still in the P's.
Oh, nice.
A little bit of John Prine.
I got turned on to him maybe 10 or so years ago by well, he was a patient of mine, but he gave me a John Prine record, and it blew me away. It's really good stuff.
And the visuals here tell you the best way to listen to this. Just lean back, sit on the deck, and listen to this album. It is so cool. Sweet Revenge on Atlantic. Let's take a look here. Now you don't want to see me here. Let's get the. Okay. It's just. Oh, this was I thought that was the sleeve. You tricked me. Lyric sheet. Slip cover. Wow, that's in great shape. Good job on me for keeping that in such great shape. So yeah, John Prine. Stupid virus got him. How are you holding up out there, Matt Bandy, with the whole thing?
It's staying home a lot. I've been off work for the last 3 weeks, doing a lot of homeschooling with the kiddos, and
oh, I was doing that today.
Yeah, well, my kids are on spring break this week, so it's been a little less structured this week, which I don't know if I'm a big fan of. I like routine, so this week has been a little yeah.
I'm learning basic math again, where it's grade school math, but I got to watch a YouTube video to figure out how to do it.
I am right there with you, Bill.
It is ridiculous. If that's just multiplication, when she gets into division, forget it. I'm out of there.
Yeah, fractions. I have no clue.
Oh my God, Jesus.
Yeah, I'm some of my 8-year-old my daughter's stuff, I'm having my 10-year-old like, hey, come here, explain this to her. And
Yes.
luckily he's he's a real smart kid and he can do it, but I'm like, I have no idea.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. 8-year-old math, and it's kind of kicked my butt today. So yeah, we got more prying here. 15-cent Coke machine.
I don't think I've ever seen a picture of him with long hair before.
Oh, when he had this resurgence in the last couple of years, I really didn't recognize him because I had no visuals of him as old man John Prine.
Yeah.
I just knew him from these albums I had. And got this one.
That's the record right there. That thing is so good.
Kevin says he never heard of John Prine until he made the news with the virus.
Really? That surprises me.
So this is the one you like, eh?
I love it. The illegal smile and was it In Spite of Ourselves? Is that on there?
I don't see it.
Blow up your TV. Is this the that's the self-titled, right? That's his first record, I believe.
Special thanks to Chris Christopherson and Paul Anka.
Oh, Angel from Montgomery. God, that song is so good too.
Uh-oh.
Oh, it's not in there? Oh, there's no sleeve.
No sleeve. It's the right album, though, so that's good.
Are you familiar with that record?
I've played it. I don't remember anything on it. I can't name stuff from it.
Yeah, it's there's a great line on there. There's a hole in Daddy's arm where all the money goes.
There's a little more mature John Prine. 1978. I don't remember where I acquired these, to be honest with you. Kind of surprised I have this many of them. So that's kind of neat.
He had a lot of health issues towards the. I think he would have battled a couple bouts of cancer, and he had a lot of like facial reconstruction, or a lot of his face looked a lot different.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know what other complications he had, but like I said, when he had this resurgence with the new album last year and all that, I didn't recognize him.
Yeah.
Should I keep going with the peas?
Sure.
Uh-oh. I missed this Pink Floyd one. It was out of order. Solo layout. Oh, yeah. This, I believe, is one of those that actually came from 1978. Actually came from Great Britain. Nope. It says Litho in Canada on there. So I don't know where I would have got this from. Wish You Were Here. Shine On Crazy Diamond. I think everyone knows those ones for sure.
My best friend's dad would tell a story about this record when he first put it on. it had some weird stereo effects to where he thought, it was, different sounds were coming out of different channels, and he thought he had blown one of his speakers because there was no sound coming out of it, and it kind of he said how that kind of blew him away, or that was the first time he'd ever heard that on a recording before.
Yeah. I wonder if this was like quadraphonic or anything. Doesn't say it was anything new and radical. Okay, so there's Pink Floyd. That should be the last of the Pink Floyd. That's in good shape. Peas. Can you believe that this guy is not around anymore?
That was a tough one.
I still can't believe it.
What upsets me too is that the music he was still putting out was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It was still so good. All of his releases.
Yeah, he was doing it, and even his Sirius radio show, Buried Treasure. It's just the guy was doing so much good stuff. He was out there on that tour. He was hurting. He still wanted to perform for everybody. So on Sirius, they still have the Tom Petty channel, so that's a good thing. And it's still good stuff. Ben Montench has a program on there as well. Ooh, it's got the budget cutout there. The budget bin cutout. It's a hole punch instead of a cut in the side. Full Moon Fever. And yeah, now that you mention his later stuff, that is not in the stack. It's somewhere else. We'll have to get to that one day. Love that artwork. As I said last episode, I did get to see Tom Petty live. Produced by Jeff Lynne, Mike Campbell. You're going to say something, Matt?
Oh, no.
The only thing I, could say about the concert, though, was there was no jamming going on. It was just hit after hit, done perfectly well. And that band has so much talent. I was just looking forward to them jamming it out. And they just stuck to the books kind of thing. Oh, my God. I missed another Pink Floyd. Who doesn't have this album? I don't know what is this thing in here? I have to figure that out. Mm-hmm. Not a big Floyd fan, Matt Bandy?
Not a huge Floyd fan. I was given that record I was probably 12, 13 years old when my mom gave me that record. I still enjoy Dark Side of the Moon. But as a whole, I'm not a huge fan of Pink Floyd. But I do like that record.
Did you see the ring wear on that? Oof.
I don't think I've ever seen an old Dark Side of the Moon that doesn't have ring wear on it.
Like I said, I got to be in a mood it's not for driving down the road jamming in the car. Yeah. You got to be in a certain mood, maybe have certain things to help you out. And I don't know what this stuff is. Have you seen these before?
Are they postcards?
Apparently they're stickers.
Oh, they're Pink Floyd stick. Okay, I've never seen those. I have no idea.
They have label codes on it.
I don't know if they came with a record.
I don't know. Chris Roberts asks, he says, Tom Petty was pretty cool, but have you ever seen New Kids on the Block for free before they were famous?
I take it that he has.
He must have. I've not seen that. No.
I think I might have heard them tell that story before.
New Kids on the Block. Okay, and for you, Matt Bandy, I'll just do one more before we get back to you. Oh, what kind of layout was that?
There you go.
Ozzy and Randy Rhoads tribute. God bless you, Randy, my friend. 2-discer. Do you have this one?
I don't. I'm not a huge fan of his solo stuff, either Randy Rhoads or Ozzy, but I respect what he did, and I was definitely a guy who lost his life too soon.
Didn't Randy Rhoads get it on with Sharon too? That was part of the issue.
I don't know.
Look at that cod piece. You got one of those, don't you?
I got a couple of them, yeah.
Wow.
Mine's a little bigger than that, though.
Hey-o. Pretty cool album. This gives you lots to look at. It's a nice tribute. A printed up version of that letter.
I always thought that polka dotted flying V guitar was awesome.
Yeah, that's for sure. Oh, the headstock on it. Is it Fender? The polka dot flying V?
I think that might have been his signature model, or I don't know.
Headstock is weird. Yeah, what's doing on the other side here? No cod piece that time. Yeah, okay. So that's that. That's it for the R's, unless I find something. Kevin has to go. Do you have any words to say to Kevin for leaving early?
Well, I did have a couple more records that I specifically pulled for him to suggest. So hopefully he watches it. And
oh, geez, Kevin, come on. Matt Bandy's up next. What do you got for us?
So I wasn't going to say this till a little bit later, but since Kevin's leaving right now, and I'll bring this one out. So this is a newer band, current band, I should say, from they're from England. The name of the band is called Witch Hazel. They are a heavy metal band, a traditional heavy metal band, heavily influenced by like early '80s new wave of British heavy metal. And if you're familiar with the '70s hard rock band called Wishbone Ash, they heavily influenced by by that band, bands like Budgie, that type of stuff. But this is one of my favorite. This came out last year. This was one of my favorite records from. Actually, this came out in 2018. This is one of my favorite records from 2018. This when I say it's a heavy metal band, don't think like crazy type heavy stuff. It's very melodic, almost kind of pastoral sounding. But yeah, this record is great, and it's a band I think Kevin would like. Witch Hazel is the name of the band again. Yeah, this was one of my favorite releases from 2018.
What does pastoral sound mean?
Almost kind of like I mean, how can I describe this? like almost like neoclassical, like influenced by like hymnal type singing.
Okay. Yeah.
Very very melodic. It's really really good catchy guitar hooks. So again, Bill, I think you would like this band too. So I that's another reason why I pulled this one out. It's really really good. But they're they're a independent small band that I absolutely love. They have 2 records. This is their second record. Sojourn is the name of it. But yeah, check this record out. You can see
Yeah.
there.
Again, how do you find this stuff?
Well, through I find a lot of stuff through record labels, through other bands, through just suggestions from friends, through Bandcamp. I use a lot to find independent bands where they're self-releasing their own stuff. There's a YouTube channel that I watch that's out of Canada. They're out of Toronto. They're called Banger TV. They've been around for quite a few years. But yeah, just reading, and I'm always looking for new bands, always trying to find new stuff. So yeah, I'm constantly on the lookout for new bands and looking for new things to check out. But yeah, I think you guys would like that band.
Well, good on you to still have this thirst to find new stuff. I'm like, I got enough. I gotta get to what I got.
I've always been that way. Always trying to find new stuff. It's yeah. So I got another record here. That's a band that I wrote off for a long time and didn't really check out their stuff because it was a little too mainstream for me. And then I went back into their catalog and discovered that I really dug some of their stuff. This is Taken by Force by the Scorpions, which are Scorpions are a German hard rock early heavy metal band. This is their 5th record. Probably my favorite of theirs. They're most known for the Rock You Like a Hurricane and kind of more of the arena rock type stuff that came out later in their catalog. That's what I knew them by, and didn't realize there was this huge backlog of traditional heavy metal stuff. And this record is awesome. I got this a couple months ago at my local record shop.
I think I would just easily dismiss them as a hair band if I saw that.
For sure. Yeah. This came out 1977. This came out. So this is kind of right before the boom of like the new wave of British heavy metal bands like Iron Maiden, bands like that. But this Scorpions was a huge influence on that sound and that scene. But this record is great, start to finish. So yeah, check out some of that Scorpions. Early
Good
Scorpions.
recommendation.
It's good stuff.
I wouldn't even have thought of them being around in the 70s.
Yeah, and this was like like I said, their fifth record. So there was quite a few. The Virgin Killers, the record that came out before this one, is really good too. Which that one also has a very controversial cover, if you're familiar with that. There was an alternate cover that when it was originally released, it was like it was essentially an underage naked girl on the cover of it. Yeah, but it's a good record. I got another new band here. This is another getting a little scary for you. Sorry. But you'll see the reason why I pulled this one. So this is a band, another three-piece band, doom metal band from Sweden called Monolord. This is their fourth record. Came out last year. This was probably one of my favorite releases from 2019. Not my favorite record of theirs, but this is on like a orangish red or black splatter, and I love when records when the vinyl kind of also matches the artwork. This hand drawn thing is crazy. If you can see that spaceship launching off from the owl's wings there.
Yeah.
Yeah, this band's three-piece band, super heavy, really slow. Vocals are kind of haunting. A lot of reverb in the vocals. Not harsh vocals; they're sung vocals. You can get a look at what the guys kind of look like there. But so this is a double LP, but the fourth side is blank, and hopefully you'll be able to pick this up. But if you can see the etching of the band on the so what would be the D side of the record, where there's no tracks, but there's just etching, and that's I don't know, that's kind of a new kind of a trendy thing. I've seen I have a couple records that have some etching on them. So, but when sometimes these metal bands, these metal records, they have some pretty long records, so sometimes they can get kind of pricey when you're always paying for a double
I think LP. I have one record that they did that. I think it was Dr. Dog.
Okay.
Of all things.
Yeah. So this is another band, not for everybody, but it's I dig it. Good stuff.
Yeah, I'm glad you showed me the shuttle blasting off from.
Oh,
caught that before.
Yeah, it's a cool. So I got a couple more here, but I'm going to kind of switch gears. And this is a guy who I've been singing the praises of for quite a few years. This is his first record. His name is J.D. McPherson. He is from the States. I'm not sure. I think he's an East Coast guy. But this stuff is heavily influenced by 50s rock and roll, kind of swing, rockabilly type stuff. It's another, I believe they're a three-piece band. But there is the track Northside Gal. I got a little bit of radio play maybe, or that's kind of what he was known for. But this record, start to finish, is just a stomper. It's so good. He has a couple, 3 or 4 records out that are all really good and tragically underrated. Not a lot of people know about this guy. If you like rock and roll, old rock and roll, this record is awesome.
Wow. You're going from one end to the other in the spectrum here.
Yeah, I kind of pulled a variety here, but my musical taste is all over the place. That's just kind of how I was brought up and what I grew up listening to, and I love. There's not too many genres of music that I don't like. There's a lot of garbage, but there's in any genre you can find good stuff. So, JD McPherson, check that out.
Wow. Yeah. Is it my turn?
Sure. Yeah, I only have maybe one or two records left here.
Cool. I was just looking at the next one. I'm in the O's now. I only have one O. I'm trying to think what else could be in an O. Any guesses?
Oh,
This you'll have to give me some advice on this too, because this might be the first one to go in the trash.
Okay.
Today.
I got no guess.
We got some Buck Owens.
Okay. I get down with Buck Owens. Little Bakersfield. Chris Roberts probably likes that.
Hold on. Give it a second. Okay. Are we back?
I hear you.
Okay. Yeah. Buck Owens. Best of Buck Owens. Yeah. So, yeah, this is in the collection out of respect for Buck Owens. Pretty big country dude. You can see it is, remember I talked about how they would code the mono and stereo stuff with these dashes on the spine here. So that means it's mono.
That was something I learned last time. I didn't know that.
Hey, wow. Pretty strange I could teach someone something. That doesn't happen too often. But look at this. It's not supposed to open like a book, but it does. No sleeve in here. Yeah, so the best of Buck Owens, Capitol Records in mono. That's probably why it's still around, because it's probably has some kind of value to it. I mean, the vinyl's in fine shape.
It's so hard to find sleeves that are from that time period, to find sleeves that are in good condition, especially like all of that 50s country stuff. And it's hard to find stuff that's still in good condition.
What do you think? Should this be kept or turfed?
If that thing plays and if the vinyl's good, I say keep it.
Yeah, the vinyl's fine.
Yeah, keep that thing.
It's made in Canada, printed in Canada. It is mono micro groove. I can't find a flipping year on this thing. Don't know. Okay, so that's the only O. You don't have to worry about any other O's. But we are going to stick with country, if that's okay.
I'm fine with that.
Chris Roberts is saying he does to something. I don't remember what he's referencing.
I think Buck Owens saying that he likes him.
Oh, I was skipping ahead a little bit. I have this first awesome album. Man, I love this guy. Voice of an angel, and he was just a radical personality. Harry Nilsson. What an album cover. It doesn't get any better than this. He's out in his robe. He's in his freaking robe. And he names it Nielsen Schmielsen. Like, how badass is that? Oh, I love it. What's he got on here that you would know that's been on the radio? Coconut, for sure. You put the lime in the coconut.
Oh, okay. Yep.
But he's done tons of stuff you would recognize. I think this is this his first album? This is made in Canada as well, this version. And then the follow-up to this album, or at some point later, he put on Son of Schmielsen, I think was the next album. I just love this guy. He had a controversial hit. It was a soundtrack to a movie called Private School. You ever seen Private School?
No, not familiar with it.
With, I'm blanking on her name. Oh my God. Who was the heartthrob in, oh my God. In Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Oh, Phoebe Cates?
Phoebe Cates. Phoebe Cates. Thank you. He has the title track in this college, coming of age film called Private School. Lots of boobies.
Okay.
And the title track is "You're Breaking My Heart." You're breaking my heart. It's something, something, something. And then he says, "So fuck you." That's the chorus. And he put that as the title track on his album, and the record company went insane. And he pretty much blackballed himself out of any kind of deals after that. But real famous partier. Him and John Lennon had a lost weekend together in California. That's like a famous story. When John took a break from Yoko and spent the weekend or the week in LA, that was with Harry Nilsson. Okay, I promised you some more country. It doesn't get any better than this.
Oh, nice.
And this is a great album. Really good. Willie Nelson, Redheaded Stranger.
That's another underrated. Well, I wouldn't say underrated. A very prolific songwriter.
Oh, geez. Yeah. Yeah. Another one of these guys who made their money selling their songs first, right? Before making it big as a solo performer.
Did you ever see, he was on Conan O'Brien years ago when Conan had the old Late Show, and Conan asked him if he remembered the very first song that he ever wrote. Did you ever see that?
Probably, but I don't recall what you're talking about.
Well, he talks about how the first song he remembers writing was a song for his kindergarten teacher, and he said the lyrics to it. I was like, oh my God, I couldn't write that now. But he wrote that in kindergarten. Like, oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. Well, like I was saying, Santana couldn't find his footing. Same with Willie Nelson. He tried to get his footing out there in Nashville, and they didn't know what to do with him. Long-haired, hippie guy. Then they made him cut his hair and look like a country guy. That's not Willie. It wasn't until he moved out to Austin and settled down that people, well, this is the long-haired hippie right here. Country doesn't know what to do with this guy. Wow. Chris Roberts says he saw Willie Nelson in concert just a few months ago.
Oh, wow.
I thought he was under the weather and had to cancel a few dates this year. Or was that last year? He did write Crazy for Patsy Cline. Imagine the bucks he made off that. He's had that guy, this mouth harp player with him forever. And it's the one part of Willie's sound that drives me bonkers. I just don't like his harmonica sound in the least. I don't like it. Ooh, whoa. It's a massive scratch right there. Are you seeing that?
No, I'm not picking that up. Oh, there I see it.
And there's something going on here on the edge. Some kind of like dirt or something. Anyways, I don't know if you heard me talk about the
Honeysuckle Road?
Yeah.
Yeah, I listened to that. Yeah, I'd never heard of that, and so that kind of piqued my interest, and I went and looked it up after that, after you talked about it.
You got to check it out. It is really good. Always on my mind. Bridge over troubled water. I don't remember him doing that. Okay, more guitar trivia for you, Matt Bandy. What's Willie's famous guitar called?
Oh, I didn't even know he had a guitar. He had a name on it. I had no idea. What is it?
You know, he always has that same beat up guitar with the signatures on it.
Yeah, I didn't know it had a name though.
Trigger.
Trigger. Okay.
There's a nice little YouTube video of his. I don't know if it's his guitar tech or someone who looks after Trigger for him. And he has Trigger there on the bench and he takes it all apart. And you get to see that thing up close, all the holes in it and what they're doing to try to keep the holes from getting bigger. And you know the story, Willie's house was on fire. He ran into it to rescue two things. Have you heard that story?
Mm-mm.
Well, Trigger, of course, and his pot.
Okay.
And the last Willie Nelson. It's just a best of.
I'd recommend. Have you ever listened to Shotgun Willie? That record?
I don't. Doesn't ring a bell.
Oh, you need to check that record out. That record is probably that's my favorite Willie Nelson record. It's so good. It's got title track Shotgun Willie. The Devil Shivered in His Sleeping Bag is another great song.
That sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah. It's really good.
Him and Johnny Cash did a VH1 thing together. The Storytellers series.
Okay,
Do you remember seeing that?
I remember that series, but I didn't see that. No.
Theirs is really good. Really good. Very just off the cuff, them going song for song. And
That's cool.
Johnny will do a song and Willie will do a song. And Willie's songs are a bit more complicated on the guitar, you know. And so Johnny's like, what do we do at this? Oh, it's like an F major 7. We'll pull right there. Johnny goes, I'll just look at my watch while you're doing that, I guess. That's it for the ends. Do you want to continue now?
Yeah, I only have 2 more records, and they're kind of weird. So I guess we'll end with some weirdos here. This one here I pulled. This is a band called Ice Sword. They are from Phoenix, Arizona. They are a heavy metal band. I would consider them kind of an epic heavy metal band, but the artwork on this record is absolutely insane. This is all hand drawn, and I don't know if you could appreciate
Jeez.
how freaking wild this thing is. This, you got to look up this thing close up. It's a concept album, very narrative driven. The lead singer, very melodic voice. He also plays a guitar, which is this band is probably my only exception for thinking a guitar is cool.
Yeah, yeah.
But this album came out last year and made my top list of my favorite records. I think this record came with a bunch of goodies too. Inside of the record, this is all independently released, self-released.
Wow.
Pretty sure it came with a poster. Yeah, it comes with the artwork there, and of the lyrics. Very, heavily influenced by sword and sorcery, and the album itself tells a story about this guy who gets turned into a dragon and like the murderous rampage he goes on. Yeah, this record is it's really good. But yeah, just I wanted to kind of show off the artwork there.
Yeah. What did you say the band was?
Ice Sword.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, you check them out on Bandcamp. But it also came with a couple. Whoops. Came with a couple stickers that I just dropped. That. This guy there. And this guy here. This is one of my things I like about too, like independent labels and independent bands. They put out a bunch of almost like feelies and old big box PC type stuff. You get a lot of the stuff will come with bonus, stickers or patches or just stuff like that. But yeah, this record's awesome.
And where are they from?
They're from Arizona, either Phoenix or Tucson. They've toured a little bit. They've been pretty quiet. I haven't heard anything about them since they released this record. Within the kind of underground heavy metal scene, this album got a lot of hype and praise to it. But yeah, I just the artwork is killer on that. And my last one, this is one of the weirdest records that I own. This is a bootleg. I don't own too many bootlegs, but this one is a compilation of 3 different 7 inches that were released by Revelation Records. Revelation Records was originally a record label out of New York City that released punk rock and hardcore bands. They eventually moved out here to California, but I picked this up in Chicago at Reckless Records, which if you're ever in Chicago, you should check out Reckless Records. Reckless Records is kind of like Chicago's version of Amoeba Records, but this record here, it's just very it's weird to me how these bootlegs from this time period got released. I have no idea who released this or how these things would get released. It seems like they kind of just photocopied the 7 inches and slapped them together on a label. There's no line work or no liner notes. It's just a plain black vinyl, no labels, and a ton of songs just crammed onto each side. But the reason that I picked this up when I did, because it has this record here, New York City Hardcore 1987, together. It was a compilation record. This was the second record that Revelation Records put out, and it has been out of print forever. And this is pretty much the only way you could hear some of these songs. Was if you had the record or had some sort of it was never released on CD, but sound quality is not the greatest, but it's just kind of a weird piece that's in my collection. The bands are on it. The Sick of It All was still going. They're a early New York hardcore band. Chain of Strength was a hardcore band from Venice Beach, California. No for an Answer was another California band too. That all hardcore punk bands from the late 80s. But yeah, just kind of a weird record in my collection.
Yeah, I do have some bootleg stuff from Bob Dylan stuff because he was bootlegged incredibly a lot. Mm-hmm. But what I found, any of that bootleg stuff, the vinyl sounds like crap.
Oh yeah, it's terrible.
And it looks perfect. It looks mint, but the needle is just jumping all over on those things.
Yeah. This sounds awful. Like there's no, like, the vinyl itself is in condition is fine, but it sounds terrible.
Mm-hmm. Wow. You did it tonight, my friend. You brought it big time.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I could talk about records for days, and my record collection far surpasses my video game collection.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's not even close.
Well, we already crested the 2-hour mark, so unfortunately, I think we got to shut it down. Didn't finish the amount I grabbed. It's funny how things slow down when we get going through this, but more for next time, I guess.
Yeah, thanks for letting me come on and talk about some records.
Hey, that was awesome. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for having the idea to jump on and throw some of your records on there, because you were showing some wild records that we're certainly not going to see going through our record bins up here in Canada. That's for sure. So it's very good. Learned some stuff from you.
Good.
And it's nice to see you have such a varied musical taste too.
Yeah.
So yeah. I'll end this with you can get a preview of what we'll start with next time, because we're in the M's. Yeah, so that'll be fun. What do you think? Are you free to join the next time, or is this a one-off for the Big Bandy?
I could be here whenever you want me to.
Wow. I think
I don't think I'm going to go back. I think earliest May is probably when my clinic is hoping to reopen.
Yeah. I'm still working. I don't like to say I'm jealous of the people that get to stay home, but I'm getting kind of jealous. Even though people are complaining they're bored at home. Like, I'd like to be bored, but at least I'm still earning. So that's a good thing.
It is a good thing.
Yeah. And hey, if I get Matt Bandy on here, I'm sure to get Chris Roberts to show up in the chat. So it's always a plus. He's not going to show up as just me. I need Big Bandy here. Is there anything else you want to finish on? Anything else you got to say? Anything you need to get out there?
Not really. I wanted to bring up something to you off air. It's nothing. It's just having to do with something I think you would think was kind of cool.
Oh, well, that's a little tease for me to get off this show. Chris Roberts says, I have to give Bandy the win in this episode.
Yeah, it's not as long as yours yet. It's getting there though. This is the first. I've never grown out my hair before. And this is the longest my hair has ever been. But I'm trying to get it there.
Going.
I'm getting
it. Keep it going. All right, let's end it there. Thanks everyone who decided to check this out. If you're watching the recording, certainly appreciate you hanging in and seeing what records we have. We're ending in the M's, so we're working backwards. Got a long ways to go if we keep doing this series. And why not? It's fun. It's a nice and peaceful way to flip through records. It seems to be relaxing. So if you are enjoying this, hit the subscribe button down there. Right? Come on.
It's criminal.
It's criminal. It doesn't cost you nothing. Hit the subscribe button, because we're going live all the time on this thing, and you won't know when unless you hit the subscribe and it shows up for you. So, it's just helping you out.
And the content this guy puts out, the amount of stuff, honestly, I'm serious. I learned so much, especially when you do your thrifting stuff, when you're talking about that old, I think one of the videos, what was the RC, the disc player thing, that format that's kind of like laser disc, but not. It has little cartridges. The video you did on that.
Yeah. Oh, video disc player.
Oh, I was fascinated by that stuff.
Fascinated. Good. Hopefully I'll do a part 2 of that at someday. There's I have a line on an actual stylus for it, so we can get it to work, and that'll be something.
There's a local place by me, or Chris Roberts knows about this place too. It's in my home, where I live right now, that they had a huge collection of those It was all like 80s horror and science fiction type stuff.
Oh, the discs, yeah.
Yeah.
They have great artwork because they all got their own exclusive artwork, and
Yeah.
artwork's
But
fantastic.
those things, they just don't like a laser disc. You could put it in, it's essentially the same size as a LP, so you could kind of hang those. Those would display a little bit nicer. But those things, they're just kind of like
Yes.
they don't look so cool hanging up on a wall.
No, and the yellow and yeah, it's a tough go, that format. That's the video disc player. Look for that in the videos down here. If you subscribe, you'll see stuff like that. So that's it. Past 2 hours, crazy fun. Look for this to happen again in a week or two, and hopefully Matt Bandy will show up again so we can see some more craziness. All right, I'm going to end it there. Thanks again for showing up, and we'll see you next time.